I don't even know where to start. This year, I don't know. Hey everyone, I'm back with another video and I'll be talking about my sophomore year recap at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I don't remember how I did it freshman year. I don't know if I did it in segments of different activities like school, track, and whatever. But I'm gonna just have a timeline. I'm gonna start from the beginning, go to the end. Let's start with the beginning. The beginning was really good. The beginning of my sophomore year was amazing. So I started off as a core leader. Many people do not know what that is. It's an extension of WOW, and I explained this last time, but it's an extension of WOW for underrepresented students. Last year I was a part of that orientation. This year I was an actual leader. It was amazing. If you go to Cal Poly and you want to be involved, but if you don't want to be in the main orientation week of welcome, you can do core. The application's already passed, but there's always next year. So the classes I took were engineering surveying, Chem 2, physical geology, and I took statics. Surveying is 4 hours straight. It's an hour lecture, 3-hour lab, and I had it right after practice, Tuesday, Thursdays. So a lot of those, I think Thursdays were one of our hard days. So like I'd finish practice and I'd speed walk to this class. Chem 2 did way better than I did in Chem 1. And I wouldn't say it's because of the professor, I'd say just because I know how to study now. I know how to, be a student now. You'd think I would have known that by now, but it took 13 years. Geology, all about rocks. I learned a lot about rocks. And then I realized I learned a lot. We're just gonna move on. So what we had there was our fence is getting rebuilt, and every time I started that sentence, they decided to bang on it. So we're not going to learn anything about geology today. Statics is probably the one most engineers are interested in hearing from me because it's one of our weed out classes. For me personally, statics, easy. I'm just saying this because everything is completely still. Don't stress over statics. Fall quarter is also the quarter I finally joined NSBE. It's the National Society of Black Engineers. I joined and I went to every meeting because they give free food and it was fun. I finally met the other 5 black people that go to Cal Poly. I went to the Fall Regional Conference, which was held in San Francisco, and I interviewed with plenty of companies. It was incredibly fun. It was an amazing experience. Also, there's just very, very good opportunities they have, and it is a great community. I did go to a second interview with my top company that was at the conference, but we'll get into that winter quarter. And now for track, I went vegan. Yeah, I decided to go vegan because I did a lot of research. Not really, I just saw a lot of professional athletes doing it because it helped with recovery and whatever. And it actually made a huge noticeable difference for me. So I continued it throughout the rest of the time we were in season. So winter break, fun, amazing. Oh, winter break's actually pretty important. So I was interested in a construction firm. So I linked in the VP for the city I'm in. And he's like, sure, bro, okay, I'm not gonna say that because I don't wanna make it look like he talks like that. But he got back to me with his email and we planned an interview the day before I was going back to school. So this is the end of winter break. I interviewed, I got the internship. So, my whole plan was to go to the career fair, but I got an internship at my number 1 company. I was like, then came winter quarter. Winter quarter is going fine. I go to one winter meet. I went to New Mexico for the first time. That was the indoor meet I went to this year. Let's see, what did I take winter quarter? Mechanics of materials, materials engineering, and dynamics. Mechanics of Material 1, also pretty easy. It's pretty much like statics. Materials engineering and the lab, also pretty easy. When I say easy though, I'm not saying I got A's. I'm not saying I got straight A's. I'm not saying I got a 4.0. Easy to me is a different relative scale. So, dynamics. Dynamics is the hardest class I have to take. If you don't know that, dynamics takes over your life and it's very difficult. I got a 20% on my first midterm, but I got a 50% on the next one. That's a 30% improvement. I think that's pretty good. This is when Miss Rona starts creeping along. I think my season got canceled probably 2 weeks before finals week, 1 week before finals week. It was all so fast. Like originally our coach was like, yeah, as of right now, we're still in season, we're still going to practice. The next day, NBA gets canceled. We hear it during practice. And it turns out we have no season, but we're able to practice. The next day, coach says don't show up to practice. Practice is even canceled, like the whole sports, we're not allowed to practice. And then that happened within 3 days. And it was very shocking news. And we had this very emotional talk, a team meeting, because the seniors, well, no, we had a team meeting, but then I had a separate one with my specific sprint jump hurdles team and my coach. And it got so emotional because we're thinking about the future of the seniors, like whether they want to come back for a few more classes and get a minor or something just to finish off their last eligibility year. And then my boyfriend and I of 2 years broke up. I had 1 week of school left and then finals week, but I was stuck in my bed all day, you know, crying. The president emailed us Saturday 11 p.m. saying, we got our first incident in San Luis Obispo County. Finals are online. This was great for me because that night I found a rideshare, got home the next day. Finals week. You know, I was too down to even study, so I just winged it, you know. I got my laptop open and took the final at the scheduled time. You know, I did pretty well, I'd say. Winter quarter, I got the opportunity to become corporate relations through NSBE. Yeah, that was mostly, I was in charge of the banquet. Banquet got canceled, so the company I was really interested in for the fall regional conference through NSBE reached out for the second interview after I'd already accepted my other company, but the company I did accept was actually my number one, so I didn't really care. So I'm home. They tell us they tell us spring quarter is going to be all online, and I'm like, that's amazing because I don't want to go back. But all my stuff was still at the apartment because I only brought as much as I could home and everything I needed home because I did have a feeling I wasn't coming back. Let's start with my spring quarter classes. So these are online classes. Took Mechanics of Materials 2, Transportation Engineering Lab, Civil Engineering Materials, Linear and Statistical Methods for Engineers. Mechanics of Materials 2 is actually easier than Mechanics of Materials 1 because it was mostly review. Transportation Engineering Lab was easy because it's a lab and we were doing it online. Civil Engineers Materials Lab was easy because it was a lab and we were doing it online. Linear, you know, I'm good at math. Statistical Methods for Engineers. Turns out I'm not good at stats, but passed on my classes. I was nominated for treasurer in NSBE, got that position. I am now treasurer in NSBE. I am back and running with these summer workouts. I've been in my internship for 5 weeks now. I don't want to go much into the summer because this is a sophomore year recap. I started off the year strong, ended it not so strong. Anyway, moral of the story, pretty much everyone's 2019-2020 school year was pretty hectic. This video might be pretty tense because of how bothered I am, but ironically enough, next week's video is how to remain unbothered. Just know that this is an exception. When someone's banging at a wall while you're trying to film a video, the whole time you're doing the video. I just don't see why you wouldn't get upset about that either. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.